Welcome, guys, to episode number 5 of the Burnham Brothers podcast. Myself, Luke, Cooper, and our youngest son, his brother, Bodie, who's not here with us today. Number 5 is a pretty big deal for us. It's someone who's got an unbelievable resume of accomplishments. So I'll just run through them now before I announce who it is. We've got Gi World Champion for 2004, 2005, 2006, 2008, 2015. Gi World Champion Absolute Division in 06 and 08. No Gi World Champ 2012, weight and absolute. ADCC Champion 2007, 2009. Pan American Champion 2001, 2002, 2005, 2006. I could have gone on, but I thought I'd just limit it to those ones. That record is ridiculous. Welcome, none other than Xande Ribeiro.
Well, thank you guys for giving me the opportunity to come and speak with such a beautiful audience, which is the Australian Jiu-Jitsu community. First time I was in Australia was 2006. I've met, Australian people before, and I remember how similar you guys are from us Brazilians, just very warm people and super fun. Of course, some Fosters. But I fell in love. It's such a beautiful and organized country, and I've had so many friends, and I'm really happy to be able, to speak to your students, to your viewers, and try to bring some words of my experience, with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
No, thank you. We really appreciate that. So we'll get into it. How are you and how is life during these strange times that we've got with the COVID-19 lockdown, which I imagine you guys are still in lockdown the same as us at the moment?
Yeah, this is something very interesting, and things that we're watching movies. I watch a lot of movies, so I guess that part didn't change. I call it cinephilus, someone that's like addicted to watching TV. That's me. Yes. So that part didn't really change much. But it's just it's pretty surreal, you know what I mean? Like I was actually in China in November, and just watching people. Like at the time, there was no such things as what was going on. At least the public didn't know. I guess the authorities knew about coronavirus. But like China is just normal. You walk around, people wear masks. I've been in Arabia, and you see women wearing burqas where you don't see their faces. So it's just like very unusual situations like that, such as either religious beliefs or in China, which they've been using masks for so long. Now, next thing I know, you're actually required to do so. It's a very odd situation where some of your constitutional rights are being taken away from you over something that we don't even know really what's going on. But we do our best. I think we need to take care. My ex mother-in-law, she lives with me. She's 65. I did do a test, so and it was negative. Of course, we should be positive, but antibodies. But myself as a normal person didn't change much, because for the past 3 years my whole life is pretty much being airplanes, traveling and doing consulting for the 6 days team. And well, it just sucks, because I had so much things scheduled, as far as like seminars. The whole world was supposed to be in jiu-jitsu lockdown right now, since the worlds are supposed to be next weekend. We had the Grapples Escape, which there's a lot of Australians coming for that. I had a Euro Tour schedule. I have a couple things. I'm opening my own academy, so that was kind of like going in the process, and I had to stop. But I guess we just have to wait. It's a lesson to learn. I think there's a lot of things we are learning within this process. As far as learn about ourselves. As far as like physically speaking, I've been doing my certification in kettlebells. So I've been, throwing kettlebells in the air every day. I've been stretching more. My yoga is getting much better. My mobility is getting better. I'm working on, maybe come back to competition at the end of June. That's working on. But I think the thing that's really I think really believes that it's the biggest thing. It's our minds, how we are working our minds in a
Yeah.
situation of stress.
Yep.
And jiu-jitsu is a stress situation in motion, but now you still, but I think the hardest thing for us as human beings is actually make our mind still, when you don't have an exercise. Jiu-jitsu is something that you emotion, but then for some reason you're not in tune with the stress inside your body, but the stress that the person is putting upon you. So I think is a phase of very like self-understanding, self-development as human beings as a whole. I think keeping ourselves entertained, dealing with depression, dealing with some days that I just feel like, man, I just want to shoot me in the head. It's something that the emotional and the depression was something that was really my concern of my students, to make sure they're happy, to make sure they're not stressed about it. Jobs are being lost, family members are being lost. So I think that part, it's something that we really have to cope with, and is the self-development something that I think all of us are benefiting from. And even the memes, say, hey man, I found out there's this girl living in my couch, is my wife, like all these little things. And I think like, if you have an issue in your family you had to deal with, if you really love your wife or your kids, that's definitely a test right now, as far as like kind of like narrowing the circle, what really matters for you, what really the things that you really love in your life, because sometimes life goes so fast and you're like, like you're a kid in a candy store, you know what I mean? That's all I want. I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this. Now you're I would say in a lockdown to like, okay, what do I really love? What do I really care? What do really makes difference for me as a person? And I think those are the things that are really cope with it. Then my life is pretty much a lockdown. I go from the airplane to my house to my daughters to the academy. I'm still going to the academy. I do all my conditioning in my own school. I do kettlebells, my mobility. I am training with the guys. We pretty much, like me, Gustavo, Victor Hugo, we always together anyway. So we just don't teach our students, But I think in general, I'm living a normal life. I go to the supermarket, I go get my coffee and drive through, but it is what it is. Ride my bike. I do the maximum as I can to keep myself not insane. So but yeah, it's unfortunate. There's a lot of jiu-jitsu academies they are struggling. I guess we're gonna learn how not to spend that extra dollar on that jewelry, on the extra watch. You know what I mean? On the extra pizza, the extra ice cream you wanna buy. So a lot of those things we're gonna have to review in our lives.
Yeah, I think we'll definitely learn from a business owner perspective is how to manage our funds better. So next time something like this happens, we won't struggle as much.
Yeah, but in a sense, it's actually bringing different opportunity. I'm seeing this new approach to jiu-jitsu as an opportunity. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Of course, we don't wanna graduate people, and you know what I mean. People are already giving belts online. Like this is stupid. For me, that's still something it's totally against what I think. I think touching and training is the number one. But I think the culture of communication will be a little different, So in a sense, I could be doing a seminar in Australia and I can be teaching class in my academy at the same time, because now, like, we have a lot of online academies such the BJJ library and other things like that, but I think more of an interaction. I think the interaction, the internet interaction is gonna be a little more valuable for business owners in that sense. And I think that like you see business such as the Baja or Grace University, they're huge on online. I think they didn't lose much, and I think we have a lot to learn from it.
Yeah, for sure. And that's true. Like you guys were sort of like the pioneers of online things with your library class. I remember when we came there, I think it was on your library class that was on
Class.
Wednesday night. And that was new to us. We'd never seen that, where you film everything and then post it to your members. That was awesome. So you guys were pretty much the pioneers of that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I remember when we started BJJ Library, there was a lot of, I think there's still a lot like specific niche online schools. With BJJ Library, our idea is spread out, of course, with we haven't been brought too many people to the business because a lot of people are doing their own or they plan to do their own. So that became a little barrier. We always paid our guests, so our idea is just as the name says, it's a library, and use my ability to be a neutral person. I have a really good relationship with pretty much every single fighter on earth. And just pretty much establish, okay, we have the La Riva, okay, let's learn about the La Riva. And then we had the La Riva in it. Let's learn about Spider Guard. We had Homeling. Let's learn about Donkey Guard. We had Death Glovering. Let's learn about Heel Hook. So I want to bring every single specialist in each part of the game to one place that everyone can have access to it. And that's what has been our main goal. It's been a little harder to keep that monthly, just because the main guys have been traveling so much, and now everyone is in lockdown. So we kept a hold on it. There's a couple of things that we're going to revamp on the website, kind of structure a little more. We haven't really changed the website in a very long time, but there's a lot of good things coming in after this time that we actually have time to move pieces around and make a better experience to our customers.
Yep. No, cool.
Going back on what you said about like people having to find different things in their life to enjoy, I think it's kind of interesting, like being in lockdown. Before this, a lot of people use jiu-jitsu as like a coping mechanism. Like that's where they went to feel better, to let out some steam. But I think a lot of people had to find like a different way to cope with like their problems or whatever. And I think that was kind of interesting because I've seen like a lot of people on social media saying like, "Oh, jiu-jitsu is the only thing I enjoy in my spare time." So they've had to like find other things, which I think is interesting and probably for the better, because then people aren't gonna, they love jiu-jitsu, but they're gonna have something else. Something I often have spoken about with my coach is like sometimes people put too much reliance on jiu-jitsu, and it's kind of worrying in case if the person gets injured or something, then they don't have anything else to cope with. So
yeah, I think and I take it as my own experience. I think the reason I love jiu-jitsu so much is because I know exactly when I have to move away from it.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times there's this big understanding that if I don't train one day, I'm gonna lose. And then one thing that I've been learning a lot is about how stress and stress hormones and adrenaline can actually slow down our resting process and our depression, and especially when people say, "Oh, it's everyday porrada," but unfortunately, a lot of people are taking Romulo's idea of the mindset of every day try to overcome yourself versus every day beating up yourself in the academy. And I think it brings a different perspective, because I think jiu-jitsu, they say, oh, jiu-jitsu is a lifestyle, but how are you really lifestyling something that's unidimensional? Right now I'm bringing to jiu-jitsu mobility, I'm bringing yoga, I'm bringing breathing, meditation, and I think there's way more to be added to jiu-jitsu, not just as a technique point of view, but as morals also, you know what I mean, as ways to really benefit people to get themselves better, and like you said, now it's like, oh, you thought that jiu-jitsu was the love of your life, but no, the first love of your life is yourself.
Yes.
And I believe, like, I have to make a parallel between like relationships and jiu-jitsu. It's like when you break up with your girlfriend, I hope you don't go through that. Now they come to you, what am I gonna do now? You ruined my life. I say, well, where was your self-love before you decide to love me? You know what I mean? And I think that's something that is very interesting. Like, people like, oh, I don't have to stretch. Oh, my jiu-jitsu is good without stretching. I'm like, it's not about getting your jiu-jitsu better. It's getting yourself better. It's like everything is related to the next technique that you have to overcome, but sometimes it's like, for me, resting is training, watching TV is training, pick what I read on TV, what I watch on TV is also part of training, meditate. Now I'm huge on mobility, which is interesting because I started to talk about movement in jiu-jitsu for the past 2 years, since I joined the Budokan mobility family in Miami with Cameron Shane. And of course, I always done ginástica natural with Alvaro, where how can I not doing a kata, but how can I make my movement artistic and also efficient in related to a combat situation, you know? And that's not just like as a physical fitness point of view, you know. There's movements that there are like, I would say there are movements that are like therapeutic, there are movements that they are fitness, and there are movements that are combat applicable. You know what I mean? And I think the fun part now is that everyone is doing it, you know. And I think it's going to create a new wave of methodology for jiu-jitsu, where maybe a beginner, you know what I mean, he's going to have to do some sort of mobility until he's actually introducing to fighting.
Yep.
You know, so I think it's going to help a lot of business owners to keep students longer, maybe to, you know, spread the variety of people that are going to join them, you know, from women, for older people, you know, not just into that BJJ sport, I want to be a champion type of mentality, you know. So I think it's doing good, and I just hope people don't get too crazy about, you know, I don't touch you. It's unfortunately something. It is a flu. It's a crazier flu. Everyone's going to get a flu once in their lifetime. And guess what? We are going to get corona once in our lifetime. You know, hopefully we are healthy enough, you know, because we train jiu-jitsu, we stretch, we live a good lifestyle. We, you know, we eat good. Because of jiu-jitsu, now we can defend ourselves and survive in an environment where immunity is going to be, you know, the new wealth in humankind.
Yep. So what was it like growing up for you in Brazil and then moving to America? Like, what was your teenage years like? And I suppose, growing up, having a brother like Solo, was there good fights over the remote control?
You wanna make sure I'm a good example for your kid, huh? The thing is, martial arts have helped me more as a person. That actually gave me discipline, gave me this, gave me that. I think my family, my father, my mother, always, you know, I was growing in a very respectful manner. So I think that part of martial arts just came in. But of course, you know, be able to grapple and actually be physical with someone else was something that's totally away from my personality. You know, I'm 39 years old. I have never been in a street fight.
Yep.
I've been in street altercations, you know, pushing people away from each other, but not actually have to hurt someone. And that's something I'm very proud of it. The first time I have ever to fist fight for someone, I was paid in Japan. So I'm really happy about that. I did judo as a physical education, so I already kind of had martial arts on that sense in my blood. And when I moved to Manaus, I was a little older. When I moved to Manaus, I think I was 8 years old, and we used to grapple when we had like a problem, and you chest bump each other before we actually go into like smack each other. We grapple. So kind of grapple has always been in my blood. And then there was one day until this kid was in my guard and he squeezed my neck. I didn't know how to put a frame on. I did judo, so everything for me was like hugging, right?
Yep.
So when the kid come to my guard, I was hugging. Next thing I know, he does like a front cervical stuff in my neck, and it hurted me. I was like, shit. And my brother like, hey, you're too weak. You know, you should try jiu-jitsu. I'm like, what the heck is jiu-jitsu? Like, what is this? So, well, it's what you're doing, but with actually something on it. I'm like, all right, I'll go for it, you know? And I went for it. And, there was the Monteiro Academy back in the Amazon, hot as fuck, super hot. Sorry that word. Very hot, very humid. The room we trained are probably smaller than my room. We were like 12 kids, and right away, the first thing that I felt was hopeless, because they would put me. First, I was like, "Whoa, this thing here, I'm actually like, cranking someone's shoulders and doing an armor lock. Like, whoa, that's like interesting, I knew how to, do a headlock and throw someone on the ground. That's all I did, throw legs around. I had no really, just judo newaza pretty much. But as a 4-year-old.
Yeah.
And then actually when I was put in the bottom, I was like, this is insane. What's going on here? Like, I feel useless in this position. So I was interested in like, whoa, because I'm very like, my brain, like if like this, if a light goes on, I want to know where the light came from, how many wires went to the light. So I like to know the process of why things happen. And that's, I think, why I was very, I learned jiu-jitsu very easy, because I always had this ability to trust the process of learning jiu-jitsu, and also my curiosity to like why things happen also, you know what I mean? But of course I respect when the teachers say, hey, just do it. I'm like, okay, I just do it. You know what I mean? But when I had my time to like, oh, let me think about it, you know what I mean? And it makes sense for me.
Yeah.
And growing up was interesting because, I'm from a medium high class in Brazil. So I had no problems. I had a good family, no problems, having food on my table. I'm very, very blessed for that opportunity that, life has gave to me. And that was actually something that a lot of kids would like, oh, I'm going to beat up that playboy. So I had to train very hard,
Yeah.
because I knew they wanted to like. And even like one time, one kid just go like this, oh, Xande only wins championships because he's rich. I'm like, and that really caught up with me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I said, first of all, I'm not rich. You know what I mean? Define rich, first of all. Of course, I'm blessed. I have a family. I have a car that drives me. I have food on my table. Even though I grew up with eating disorder, I couldn't eat.
Oh.
I had problems with like texture, smell. If some food smell weird, I would vomit. I pretty much grow up as far as I remember being a human being. I only ate bean soups. Bean soup. The only juice I would drink was like maybe not even grape juice. I was like orange juice, tangerine juice, and I ate meat. That's pretty, and bread. That's bread and cheese. It was literally just bread, cheese, maybe one or two types of fruits, as about it, and bean soup. If you put the rice and beans together, I would like I can't do it. I got beat up a lot to eat, but I'm like, I can't eat. There was something happened in my childhood. I don't know. So that was my issue in my life. But I still train a lot, 4 hours a day for many years. And there was actually a time where jiu-jitsu, whereas Vale Tudo was turning into MMA. So I was growing up in a time that if I had a jiu-jitsu shirt and I walk around with a luta livre guy, there was a fight. Like, because there's a whole thing about the Gracie challenging luta livre, which is pretty much submission fighting, submission wrestling today. The no-gi, So no-gi was a different martial art than jiu-jitsu. So there was a time where it was very dangerous. It was very dangerous to be on the street sometimes. You never know. But for some reason, because of the way my energy is, some people did respect me. And by that time, my brother was actually already in Rio. So I started Jiu-Jitsu in 91, March of 91, for March 9th, 1991, I started Jiu-Jitsu, was my first class.
Wow.
And my brother left to Rio in beginning of 1992 to go to college. So we spent, not too much time training together, especially because he was a little old. He's 6 years older than me. So that, he was in the bigger mat. I couldn't go in the bigger mat because what happened was the first week we're in the new academy. We were all on the same mat and I was training and this guy fell on my head and cranked my spine and I couldn't breathe. So I was like this, I could have died right there. And the guy cranked my back and then like, I couldn't breathe, Was a bad crank, was weird.
Yeah.
And my mom go like, yeah, you can't put kids with adults, blah, 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 blah. And then so we got a different mat. Next thing I know, I was forbidden to go in the bigger mat. So, which was actually interesting because I took responsibility of the small mat. So now I'm like an 11-year-old kid, 10, 11-year-old kid teaching all the kids, and help them, teach them like, because in the beginning was like UPA, hip bump, scissor sweep, arm lock. That's all we knew. You know what I mean? Like, and old school pass. That's all we did. You know what I mean? So it was easy in a sense. So I had always that kind of leadership along the way, which made me think about jiu-jitsu more. So like I'm a 12-year-old guy, and my sensei just go, hey, now you're responsible for the small mat since your mom made us make another mat. I'm like, all right, I get that's what it is. But yeah, and then every Friday we had slap fighting because we did self-defense Fridays. So on Fridays, mostly on the carnival, we did we had to take the gi off and slap fight each other for like learning how to fight. You know, it was like palm striking. You could palm strike, you could stomp, you could smack any way you want. The only thing you couldn't do was elbow, headbutt, punch, and knees, but you could stomp. And we would do things like the four, like we do like gang stuff. You know what I mean? Like just to train. You know, we'd go like pa pa pa, defend it, smacks and stuff. And then when time to grapple, we would pick teams and you'd pick your opponent and you had to smack fight him for 3 minutes. But you had to watch out because if you just smack fighting, you don't pay attention here, someone could just go and smack you. So and then they would say, okay, you can go to the ground. So you could take, and then you have to take the guy to the ground and finish him fast so you can help your friend. So, and that's how I grew up learning jiu-jitsu, like real self-defense skill, because that was like some of our friends would come to the academy on Monday, actually, like, you know, they had a fight and someone jumped them. So that was kind of like, but not like everywhere, but that was a little phase until like, you know, got settled in an event and things like this. But besides training, you know, I would like just do normal stuff, you know, just go to school, do my responsibilities as a young man. You know, if I want to train, my mom didn't do much. You know, I had to like get my gi, get ready. You know, she supported me when push comes to shove. Her and my dad were a big support. You know, and then that's pretty much about it. And then I joined the military high school, which is just a school but with military stuff on it, and that was pretty cool. Which mingled jiu-jitsu because I was used to that structure of like, you know, discipline and stand up for like 3 hours, you know, in a formation and things like this. And I always like, you know, play soccer on the street. I was always climb trees, you know, going into the little jungles, little forests, and just go in and get lost and come back 5 hours later. You know what I mean? Barefoot all the time, you know, climb the trees to get fruits. You know, it was a pretty blessed childhood to have, you know, be able to mix all that. My dad owned like a lumber company, so we had to go to the water because they keep the lumber on the water. So we had like water houses, like the company had like water houses, we had like barbecues on the weekends, you know, speedboats and have fun and jump in the Black River, you know, fish piranhas, you know, and things like that. Yeah, but besides, you know, being, you know, just Brazil, everything was fun. A lot of friends. I had a lot of friends, all the different, you know, high society, you know, middle class, you know, kids that, you know, to come. They would, you know, like literally some kids once their gi start to sweat was like, you know, the little, you know, that thing when the water that gets like wet, like slippery. Yeah, that was a fun part of my life, you know, growing up in Brazil. And then, which is a funny story. Someone gave me an American flag, and in my house there was a post. It's actually my house. There was an American flag in it. On the top of it, was so. And my mom, why did you put that flag there? I said, no, I just like that flag.
Yeah.
Like, and that was funny. I was like an American flag on the top of my house, you know, like waving it. Until one day I'm like, whoa, it was like a year later, I'm like, oh, the flag. And I went to read, the flag was like all ripped out. And yeah, and then in '99, I was 18 years old. Oh, and then I went to America for the first time in '98. But I went straight to Hawaii. That was my first experience in America. I did spoke English, so well, I didn't really like had a much of speaking English, but I went to English school. Was like after I would go to school, like normal school, and then 2 times a week I would go to a specific English school to learn English. And then that helped, you know, because I could like read. I could read, but I was very shy to speak, which is natural because you have to like teach your ears how to listen English. And that was my first experience to America, and it really amazed me because like, oh, everything works. You know what I mean? I go on the right side of the road. I stop here. They stop the cars, and I really liked it because I like structure. You know what I mean? Brazil, Sometimes I'll go to a party, people are like cutting lines. You know, you go to the bathroom is smelling like pee all over.
Yeah.
You know, guys are grabbing girls by the elbows and things like that.
Yeah.
So when I moved, I first moved to, and then of course, and I went 98 and then 99, 2000. And I was like, you know, doing seminars with my brother. That's when I moved to America, 2002. I moved to Ohio, Toledo, Ohio. That's when we pretty much, you know, the first seed, which at the time was called Xande Ribeiro Jiu-Jitsu Association.
Yep.
Excuse me. So that was the first really thing. And then it was pretty cool. You know, I got to buy my first car. You know, going to the bank was easy. You know what I mean? You could just pay my bills online. You know, a phone was like so cheap. You know, and I think I think the culture, I guess, of our, I wouldn't say bad about Brazil, but a more developed countries such as like Australia and America, I think it just fit more my way of thinking about things. You know what I mean? And that's why moving to America for me wasn't that hard, because I knew the language. I'm a chameleon, and I think my jiu-jitsu speaks for itself. I can adapt to any situation.
Yep.
And yeah, there was you know, those days, you know, there'll be a little sad, but pretty much I lived in lockdown for a good 3 years, because I would just go to the academy, go home, academy, go home, academy, go home for like years, you know. And but I trained so hard, you know, and I developed my game, and I raised a lot of good athletes and then human beings.
Yeah, that's like you training hard. That comes to my next question. Like back in when we went, was it 2015? You said? Yeah. When we went there, you were one of our, like I said, one of our idols, and that was our only thing when we went there. We actually went there for Cooper to do the Kids Worlds that was on back those days. And our only jiu-jitsu academy that we were going to go to was yours. That's the only one we'd had marked down, because that was, you know, that was on my bucket list. And we turned up there one day, I think it was a Wednesday through the day, and you were training for Gi Worlds. And we sat there and watched you do a round. I think it was like a 20-minute round.
It wasn't Gi Worlds, I don't think.
I think it was maybe Metamoris.
Yeah,
it might have been.
July.
Yeah, because on 15, I hurt my groin in 14 when I was supposed to fight Pena for the Brasileiro, and I was out for 6 months.
Yep.
And if it was Pans, that was probably something around me negotiating my fight with Keenan. That's when I fought Keenan. So probably if that was that time, because that's when I'm like, you know what? Shit, I fought Keenan very well. Might just jump in the worlds and end up winning.
No, that was our first experience to like seeing someone of that level training. Like we watched you do a 20-minute round with this massive dude that was at your academy, had a beard, and it was no gi you were doing. I think.
Okay.
Yeah. And we watched his roll, and then you came off the mat and started talking to us because we were just there trying to get some information. And I just thought, Jesus, these guys are like killing each other. And that just gave us the idea of that next level of training that needs to get to be at that level.
For sure, yeah.
How was that, like, your mindset for training for comps and that? How do you
approach competition?
Yeah.
It's like I said, man, some people can say, oh, it's war, oh, it's this, it's do or die, or whatever, you know what I mean? I think I train, like, the thing is, it's still fighting. And I think that's where people are missing. You know what I mean? I don't train for competition. I train to learn how to be combative.
Yep.
So I train every day the same way that I train if I would be in a competition. The only difference is that I just, like, of course I'll get more specific. So for example, like when I train, it's training. You know what I mean? I'm not competing every day. Imagine if I had to compete with Victor Hugo every day. I'm going to have problems. You know, the guy's 21 years old and I'm 40.
Yeah.
You know, for me, I always saw training as training. You know, I don't have to go crazy. I have to learn something every day. I don't have to beat someone every day, you know, and it's what changes is the mindset. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, there's no more margin for errors. But I have to build my knowledge and my efficiency throughout that process, like the off season, let's put that way.
Yeah.
You know, because you can be the most competitive guy, but if your jiu-jitsu sucks, you're gonna suck. You know, you're not gonna win. You know what I mean? Like if you don't like, you have to at least have good jiu-jitsu and be competitive, right? I wasn't really the biggest competitive kid at all. I just allowed my work to do its work. You know, I keep watching like, you know, like I'm watching like the Michael Jordan thing, how he wanted to win. Winning was the only thing that happened. And the guy had to struggle for 7 years until he won his first championship and he ended up winning 6. You know, so it I never really stressed about it. First of all, you know, I did my utmost best without ruining my emotions. You know what I mean? Because as far as I know, I still had to go to school. I still had to finish college. You know, I still had all of those thoughts. You know, and in Brazil, it's not like America that you go to college and do your scholarship and go play in the NFL, whatnot. So I guess for you to really have a competition mindset, you have to really be sure that your jiu-jitsu is good.
Yes.
And I have always had that in mind. I don't pick training. Whoever trains with me, I'm training. If I'm not on a good day, it is what it is. You know what I mean? I'm gonna move. I'm gonna be precise as I can be on that day, because I might be in a bad day. You know, but I'm gonna do my best technically to evolve. As an athlete, okay, the tournament's in 6 weeks. Oh yeah, now I turn into an athlete mode because now I'm going to a competition. You know, it's different than being a fighter versus being an athlete.
Yep.
Now I have to be an athlete. Now I have to like, okay, I have to get my conditioning back, because you know, if someone gets me in the side control, if diamond doesn't work, I'm gonna push in the head out of it. So I'm gonna be, you know, I'm gonna make things work without be efficient. Do you
Yes.
understand?
Yes.
Like my point. So I can be effective without be efficient, and that's why conditioning and being an athlete in jiu-jitsu can do for you, because you can be effective, you can score the points and win a championship without really being efficient as
Mm-hmm.
far as like the principles of fighting, you know. So and then of course, and I'll go and I'll change my mindset, and you know, I go to process of volume of training. Okay, volume of training means, you know, do many rounds, you know, get your mind knowing that, okay, I can go the extra mile. You know, I do my conditioning, but of course, I have to be always careful with my rest. And that's something that it has always been in my whole career.
Yep.
Yep.
When I go in the day and I feel like, dude, not today, stay home. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you want to be you want to be the best as you can be even when you're tired.
Yes.
But if your mind tells you, shit, man, I'm broke, you know what I mean? Because it's different when it's like a sport team or something, you know what I mean? Like it's not always on you in a way, but fighting is different, you know what I mean? If you step wrong, you hurt your foot, it's gone. It
Yep.
becomes a chain of everything gets messed up, and it
Yeah.
starts all here. So many days, like, and then we go to the process, and then maybe the other week you step up the competitiveness in training. You know what I mean? Which meaning when I'm training, I give you that much gap to
Yep.
play with me. When it's time to go, that's the gap I give to you. You're gonna have to force your way in.
Yep.
You know, so my diamond closes in a little more. I will say it that way, and then goes to a performance week. You know what I mean? That's okay. That's championship week. There's no losing in training. You know what I mean? Because I want to train as hard, put all my strategy in the game, boom, 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 and I'll do my best. Unless I wake up and I say, dude, that's not right. I'll do something that complements it. I'll run, I'll do yoga, I'll do the air dine, you know, I'll do something that is still a fight,
Yep.
but not gonna get me hurt. And then, of course, when all of that's done, and you say, "Okay, I'm on my best," you shut the competition mode out, you know, and put it, you know, now it's about sharpening up what I'm already good at, and sharpen up what are my skills. And then that's when we do shorter rounds, you know, high intense, like get my, you know, maybe 2, 3, 5 minutes, like where I go a little crazier, you know what I mean? And then boom, and I can see like my heartbeat going from 180 to 120 in 30 seconds. I was like, okay, I'm in shape. All right, so a lot of partial training. All right, Vitor Hugo starts in my back, ready, go, boom. All right, Saulo, stars on the mount. Let's go, boom. Because now I can put my high conditioning and match my efficiency.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Without getting too stressed about being competitive, because I already did it.
Yep.
And then maybe, and then we schedule maybe another one. For example, if Worlds would be like next week, my last competitive training would be this past Thursday. But I already have to be kind of like recollecting. So you go a hard week and you do a recover but build up week where you do like shocks in your body. Mm-hmm. And then I say, okay, tomorrow's performance is hard training, 5-10 minute rounds as best as you can be. And I go back, and then I can see how much I have increased on my technique and my performance without getting tired. Yep. Because I did volume, I did performance and intensity and go crazy. And then I kind of like build up again my issues, because sometimes when you go in a really hard week, like your movement doesn't get sharp anymore, because now everyone's in shape.
Yep.
So it kind of like, it's almost like you teach your body that you can't do something. That's when you pick maybe lower rank guys, to make sure you can move. Now your body, okay, that's escape. So even before I go escape Saulo's mount, I'll pick like 15 blue belts.
Yep.
To be very precise. And I build up that intensity and say, it's effortless. So the whole idea is to turn this into effortlessness.
Yep.
And then of course the last weeks have fun. The brackets comes in, you start to specific for each person, maybe if you injury, you do some physiotherapy, maybe you study some stuff, but not too much, and now it's time to actually let it go, because your essence already knows what you do. You know what I mean? And like I said, study a tape, maybe a technique, maybe something comes up, but without stressing so much. Otherwise, now you have too much information to deal with, where you should be mindless.
Yep.
And I think that's how I approach competition. It's more like off on. You know what I mean? That's usually how it goes.
No, I like that mentality. It's really, it's good.
That's awesome. Yeah, you can tell, like before you were saying how you really like a structured life. You can tell that really goes through into your training as well. Your training sounds very precise and planned out.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm 39 years old and they can't figure out how to beat me.
True.
That is true.
They sweep me, but they don't beat me, and even Lovato yesterday, he says timeless jiu-jitsu, it's simple. Yeah, they can't figure it out because it's so simple.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a black dress is still gonna make a woman hot. Doesn't matter if it's 1970 or 2100. You know what I mean? It's not the fancy. It's not the fancy jewelry she's gonna wear. It's how she, makes herself in a little black dress.
Yeah.
And my jiu-jitsu is just like a woman's black dress. Never got out of shape. Never got out of fashion. And those are the things that. Like the present modern jiu-jitsu ruling is taken away from what really matters, which is like my ability to survive and kill people.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Of course, there's so many great kids, they grow up, they're complete. Like some kids, if they don't pull guard, they lose. So, you know what I mean? Like, especially today, you know what I mean? It's like the competition of the fastest sit down. It's crazy. Like even the other worlds, I saw two kids like faking, grabbing, and sitting the butts. Like, come on, man. Jiu-jitsu still take down, pass, control, and finish the guy. But like I said, but unfortunately, it is what it is. Even like little rules, like reaping. I learned jiu-jitsu. The first foot lock I learned was actually a reap. I would actually finger four my legs to do a foot lock as an 11-year-old kid. Well, actually, 10-year-old kid, and that's how I footlock my friends. and I still have the awareness. You know what I mean? As far as not now, like, and then you create unethical athletes where they fake. See, it's hard to my knee. I say, come on, man, you're not defending. Like, are you for real? Like, your jiu-jitsu is so shitty that you're not defending the rip.
Yeah.
Like, it makes no sense for me, right? And then we have little things like double gap pull I go up, I am awarded for doing my job.
Yeah.
No, you didn't conquer anything. You're supposed to be on the top.
Yeah.
You didn't do anything. How many fights in jiu-jitsu are won with that pitch advantage?
Yeah.
It's insane. So pretty much I can win how many fights I seen like this. Double got pull, and then I go up, I get, an advantage. I put myself on the 50-50, and now I sit back down. Now I'm losing 2 points, but I'm winning one advantage. Now I give everything, all the kettlebells, lifting, CrossFit I did. I go up, I barely hold the guy, and I got 2 points, and I win the match without doing anything.
Yeah,
It's
so
ridiculous.
true. Yeah.
Yep.
It's ridiculous. And then the UAE now did the advantage is the same thing as a point. So if I sweep you, it's 2 points for me. You maybe almost got to my side, one advantage. That's 1 point. You maybe got to my side and maybe was an advantage. We don't know yet, but the referee gives the point. Now I lose because the advantage is 1 point and the guy scored less on me.
That's crazy.
It makes no sense. It makes no sense. It makes no sense for me the way it is going. Which it's fine. I'm still gonna give it a shot at Worlds. I'm still gonna go against my.
But is that the world we're growing up in now? Like when you have, that saying, awarding everyone a medal just for participating. Is that part of it that they're doing this?
Yeah. It's like, but people gonna get mad if we do this. I say, I don't care, man. Like I like, like advantages are supposed to help. Now they're actually more valuable than the help.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like what it is really attacking. I don't think going for sweep is an attack. I don't think that's an attempt. Attempting a sweep, it's nothing. In my perspective, you can be punched in the face. Okay, if you put in that perspective.
Yep.
So, but it's a sport. Well, yeah, but now the sport became I call it janitorial because it's all about sweeping. You know what I mean? It's a lot of cleaners. Karate Kid movie.
Yes.
It's what jiu-jitsu is today. Hey, Mr. Miyagi, can you teach me how to sweep? Yes, Daniel-san. That's what jiu-jitsu has become.
I love it.
That, like, you know what I mean? Like, all right. And people say, I don't like to mount because I don't know how to mount. Hello, but he knows like 100 lapel stuff. Like, really? You can't escape mount. You can't escape, like, it's amazing, like the other perspective, going from the top to the back.
Yeah.
Totally fine for me. But no one how to escape stuff.
Yeah, sure.
That's how I see. And that's when you see Gordon Ryan smashing everybody because nobody can escape his stuff.
Yep.
But they're developing I don't know. I was gonna say something very bad, but whatever guard they believe they do it. He's still a kid. I can't be cussing. So
no, he's not a kid. He's almost 20.
How old are you now?
No,
Almost 20.
Yeah.
Holy shit! Oh, sorry. I thought you were like. I was like, 17. I didn't even want to. Yeah, but anyway, we don't know which students of yours are gonna watch this. So it's just like, this new guard, this new this. The jiu-jitsu I like the most nowadays is Adam Modzinski. I love the guy's jiu-jitsu. It's open. He, sweeps and stuff. He just need to get his defense better. That's all. You know what I mean? I like Merigali's game. I don't like the size of his gi, but I like his game. And that's all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I like Low because Low is crazy. He goes for it. He doesn't tap anyone, but he's awesome to watch. You know what I mean? But some guys, man, it's like, oh my God, dude. Like, and if you look at them, every single one of them, once they get in that bad position, they die.
Yep.
They die. The example is the Buchecha and Roger fight. Xande, what do you think about the fight? Well, I think Buchecha has a better odd to win. But if Roger gets him in a position, could be a problem. One position.
Yep.
And that was over.
Mm-hmm.
Gordon Ryan, same thing. The guy did not lose one position in the whole ADCC. Everyone he got advantage on, he finished.
Yep.
I think the only one he didn't get advantage on was like either Lucas or Buchecha. Everybody else, he got a good position, he finished.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And I learned that I was a brown belt. I remember the mentality of like, once you get something, you finish. And you make sure when they get you, you escape.
Yeah.
That's always been my mantra, right? So I remember I beat this guy 26-2, right? 26-2. Brown belt, quarterfinals, worlds, and I go out and I'm like, yeah, 26. I'm like feeling so amazed that I did 26 points. And my brother, he gets very like introspect before tournaments, and I'm like, hey, Saul, did you see that? 26 points. And he's like, great, you just showed me you can lose every single position in jiu-jitsu. And then he just turns around and puts his single. I was like, what the fuck is this guy, man? I just beat the guy 26-2, and he's telling me that I can lose every single position in jiu-jitsu. And I'm like, well, I took the guy's back 3 times. I mounted him 3 times. I couldn't finish him. Yep. That's when I clicked it. I was like, all right. So if you look at my fights, I don't score more than 7 points.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And that's right. Sometimes when I see fights like 14-12, I'm like, holy shit, man. 14-12. It's like a very odd score for me.
Yeah.
Going back on what you were saying, with like double guard pulls and how the points work these days, do you think there should be more points awarded for like takedowns? So like instead of 2 points, 3 points to encourage more?
No. I think if they take away advantage, and if they make 50-50 whatever in the 50 a time release position.
Yep.
And if you actually sweep from 50, you have to get out of it to get score points.
That's cool, yeah.
I think if you do that, it's easy.
Yeah.
Double guard pull, you gotta finish both.
Yes.
Someone gotta get up. You get up, fight going on. Great, you did your job.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Maybe you could keep advantage. I wouldn't say that advantage is a bad thing. It's just very subjective the way the guys score advantages. But I think like, okay, double guard pull is only negative if the guy don't come up.
Yep.
And you kick both out. If you put on 50 and you sweep, you only get score if you get out of it.
Yeah.
That's it. I think that saves a lot.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not being crazy about it. Or maybe you gotta say, all right, you put on the 50, you have 45 seconds to work. Or whatever. You know what I mean? If you put on it, get a stalling.
Yep.
You put yourself in there. Now there's like 50-50 lapel. Peraí, man. Come on. 50-50 lapel. Okay. You go, we score the points, and the guys don't let go of the grip. They stay there.
In Pan Americans last year, I got stuck in 50-50 lapel, and the guy held me there for 6 minutes, and he won by advantage. I couldn't get out.
See?
Yeah.
But like, I say, oh, you got to get out. I'm like, come on, man. The guy put me in this. Like, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
Like, it's a joke that I make. You know what I mean? Those guys, they do like CrossFit. Okay, the only kind of like, not so rated PG thing I want to say. These guys train so hard. They spend so much money in supplements. They like post all of these workouts, like how they can squat like 500 pounds, and their idea of combat is put their balls near someone else's balls. That's their idea of fighting? No, not even, like, it's even worse. I'm not just balls to balls, but now I put a wrap around, and now I can keep my balls even further.
I love it.
and you don't change because you're afraid people gonna not like it. I say, what about the people watching it? What about that old, like, very like conservative Republican guy that wants to see some fights? Like, hey man, what's those guys like balls to balls there? For me, it's a sexual position. You know what I mean? It's good to be with a girlfriend. It's awesome, scissoring and stuff like that. This isn't like, I'm sorry, like if any woman feel a little threatened by it, but there's a name for like this thing, scissoring. I mean, come on, guys. You can cut that off, okay? You can cut that off.
I love that.
No, stay with us. I don't want to be like, all the community like, oh, Sean is talking all this stuff, but which is like, come on, man, it's a fight. Let's get closer to a fight. It's still a sport. MMA is a sport. You know what I mean? You can't headbutt, which I learned jiu-jitsu when we did like slap fight. You could mild headbutt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you could mild elbow the body. You know what I mean? And that's how I grew up. And now I go into oh, you don't know Lapella 50? I'm like, well, I know in a different way, but it's all good. So, all right, you want to do it. It's amazing, man. You go underneath, like you put it in, you get out, and then you do all the beauty bowler stuff. Amazing, but man, get out of it.
Yeah.
Or we find a way to limit that. That's my only thing. I don't think there's much to change. I give more points. I don't think it's useless. Which actually, when I started jiu-jitsu, guard pass was 2 points.
Yeah.
Near the stomach was 3.
Oh, wow.
And you only score a sweep if you actually sweep the guy with the back on the ground.
Yep.
That's how was the rules back in the day. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think in my opinion, I told them in many rule meetings. Like they called me in a rule meeting, and I say, guys, I don't think I should change anything. Double grapple, disqualify both, no advantage for whoever comes up. And if you go on the 50-50, I'm not even saying to give it a fall, but you only get score points or anything from it if you actually get out of it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're going to stay there. Hey, how many world championships you see that's like, have you seen the Brazilian guy called Saci Pererê? He's a legend of this guy that like, he doesn't have one leg and he hops it's a Brazilian thing.
Yep.
How many finals of a world championships you see 2 guys hopping on one leg?
Yeah.
Leg hopping. It's leg hopping competition.
Yeah.
That's what became, I don't want to see that. I want to see someone like bombarding something from somebody from the guard, try triangles, face plants, going underneath, X guard, boom, double leg, take it down, sprawl. That's the things I want to see. I don't want to see who jumps first on the floor.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just my perspective.
No, I agree. It's more exciting seeing that. Like I watched yourself and Hodges' World Final last night, 2008, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the exciting match, like the takedowns. Roger going for judo, you going for I think you got a couple of takedowns on him in the end. That was exciting.
Yeah, Xande Ribeiro, yeah. It's a stand-up fight, of course. He's, 10 kilos more. I had to play strategy, whatnot, you know what I mean? He didn't pull guard. I said, I'm not going to pull guard on you too, so I'll stay here.
Yeah.
I'd rather watch like something like, exchanging and some strategy going on, But of course, back in the day when jiu-jitsu heavyweights were just playing sumo guys, yeah, that was boring. 2 guys just headbutting each other. But there was stuff going on, you know what I mean? It's not the most like, it's just like, what's going to happen? You know what I mean? More than actually what was actually happening. We still like had a lot of exchanges. It was a fun fight,
Yeah, for sure.
For me.
Are you limited for time?
I'm okay. 0:00. I'm good. I still got some time before dinner.
We'll keep going then, because this is good fun.
Yep.
It's a talk show. It's okay.
Now, I'm interested to know, they said that you've only been mounted once in your life in competition, and that was at yellow belt as a kid. With the gi. With the gi, I got mounted once. I was a yellow belt, and I never got mounted after with the gi. Buchecha kind of mounted me, no gi, but he was more like in a half mount, because as he's mounting me, I kind of like got the half guard. So it wasn't really like a legit, was still a mount, I guess. Yeah.
What I mean, the kid still trains?
Yeah.
No, he doesn't train anymore. No, he doesn't train anymore. He was like super good, heavier than me at the time. It was like 10, like the division was like from 10 to 13, 12 years old.
Yep.
And he was a little heavier. And of course, he used to beat me every day anyway. So he just mounted me and I was able to survive. That was like, it's the first time ever I survived under him.
Yeah.
So it was cool. Usually in training, he would submit me all the time, would piss me off. But I'll say, okay, he's better than me anyway. So I just gonna try to survive. And I was very, very happy that I was actually able to not die. You know what I mean? I was like, yeah, I didn't die. And I got my yellow belt. No, actually, I think I got my yellow belt at that tournament.
Oh, nice.
That's what happened. I was a white belt.
Ah, cool.
Yeah, good.
So I was a white belt last time I got mounted.
So who do you talking about the goats of the sport? Like, there's been a lot of crap going on social media about who the goat is, who the best is. Who do you consider the best? Because looking through your record, like, you've beaten all of the best, basically. You've beaten your Hodges, your Lucas Leches, Barolo Estemas, Leandro Lowe, Fahia, Galvao, Cyborg, Garcia. All these guys you've beaten. Should your name come up more often in the GOAT talk?
The only problem that I see is that I had someone toe-to-toe with me, which was Roger.
Yep.
You know, and he did more impressive things, I would say. Like, he made people look like nothing.
Yep.
And we had Jacaré, which is more of a showman. You know what I mean? And like I said, I'm not really concerned about being considered this and that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't let that really go into my brain. I don't have to go and self-proclaim myself.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I do think Roger, was one of the best for sure. I think, as far as like the way I see jiu-jitsu, I have to put me and Roger, at that group. You know what I mean? Of course, different ways. The way we made people look on the mat, you know what I mean? Just smashing them.
Yep.
And just finishing fights. You know, that's all we did. And I think the biggest thing that overshadowed a little bit was because I was with Roger at the time. And then, Jacaré was a showman. So he's like, oh, Jacaré, you know, which I still beat Jacaré twice, but they gave him the first fight. Anyway. And like I said, like, if you're not relevant, people go say, oh, whatever. But like I said, I know my value. I'm not going to be the one, oh, I'm the GOAT, I'm this and that. I think my accomplishment, let's say, I fought Roger Gracie 8 times. On the gi, I beat him 3 times. He beat me twice. Galvão, I beat Galvão 6 times until he was able to beat me.
Oh, wow.
Braulio is, I beat him 4 times. He beat me 3 times. 2 of them was an injury, but it is what it is. I made fun of him. The only guy that I couldn't beat was Pena, you know what I mean? But Pena, I beat him for 90% of the time. So every time we fight, I beat him until the last minute. And then he goes there and beats me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I said, if maybe last Worlds, I would have played a little more strategy. I could have, I don't even know what I fucking did, tried to go his leg. But it is what it is. I don't go into that gold thing. I think it's different. I think I know my value, and I think I don't need this. I don't need people tell me I'm the GOAT. I know my value as a person. I know that no one ever did what I did, which is being on the top of the game for so long.
For sure.
Like I said, I don't get smashed. I don't get mounted. I don't get run over. I don't get thrown like a bitch. But put all these people there. Everyone got smashed and treated like a bitch on the mat. I never. You know what I mean? The only guy that did something similar was Rodolfo. You know what I mean? He took my back and he sprawled me from the back. That was the worst thing that actually ever happened against me in a competition. You know what I mean? Was Rodolfo. He took my back and he sprawled me, and then I turned over and I escaped. That was the worst thing that ever happened to me in a competition. If I have to put that way. Of course, being choked by Marcelo wasn't fun. And Roger in the same weekend, which was no-gi, if you put it that way. And also, I don't change. I don't follow. I fought in every single rule set. I probably have the most fight at Worlds as anyone else. I have the most fights at ECC as anyone else. For the numbers of fight that I have a really high percentage of submission against the best guys. I've mounted Galvão, I've mounted Braulio, I've mounted Romulo, I've choked Cyborg 5 times. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Name it. You know what I mean? I've smashed everyone, more than once at least. So, but like I said, I'm gonna let this really, you should be going there. I don't really mind, But like I said, I think the reason I don't get more credit is because I was growing up in a time where Roger was there.
Yeah.
You know, he had all this media, and of course he did what he did, but he always struggled to fight me.
Yep.
And then he ended up winning more worlds. And then Jacaré was a showman. So, and then Marcelo came in, like defending Marcelo. So a lot of those things happened when the media was like, you know, being very vocal about it.
Yep.
But again, I don't care. I'm there. I'm going to come back next year and I'm going to win again. And then we're going to figure out what people have to say about that.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
You certainly wear the black dress the best.
Yeah. I'm trying.
Out of all those fights, I know you spoke about Rodolfo taking your back and things like that. Who do you reckon was your toughest fight out of everything? Do you have like a specific one you think you can think back to?
Toughest fight. I think the toughest fight was with Roger in 05, ADCC.
Yep.
Of course, fighting him, but it's just because what happened. You know, he was passing my guard and I pop a triangle on him.
Yep.
And I should just have squeezed. You know, like I was so stupid. You know, I put it in and I tried to fix it.
Yep.
When I tried to fix, he stepped over, and then I got a little frustrated. Then went to overtime, and then I don't know why in the hell I tried to leg lock him. And then he took my back and then finished me. That was like the toughest one, like the toughest loss. I think if at that tournament I would have tapped him, I think that could have changed a lot. And the whole GOAT thing, you know, I think that could have changed a lot. But then maybe if I have beat that in there, I wouldn't have beat him in 2006. So we don't know, you know what I mean? But I think that fight was like a little bitter for me because I was in super good shape. You know, I got the triangle, man, was full on. I should have just, you know, squeezed the fuck out of it. I didn't. I tried to, like, you know, let's make it perfect, you know, put his arm this way. But as soon as I, you know, threw his arm around, he stepped over and he was out. And then went downhill after that. You know, I ended up still taking third, the division. And then we went for the absolute, and he ended up beating me again. Again, shitty strategy I did. You know, he catch me again. And then I ended up losing to Marcelo. So I think that's pretty much the worst weekend of my whole jiu-jitsu existence. You know what I mean? I don't think I have ever tapped more than once in 2 days. You know what I mean? Usually I tap once one day, and then maybe another week someone catches me. But being strangled 3 times in 2 days, that really like made me like, what the fuck am I doing? You know what I mean?
No doubt.
And then I came back, and in the same year I won the World Cup, you know, weight absolute, and then I took second in the Worlds. I lost to Roger. That's the last time he passed my guard. And then I ended up winning 2006, and I went 2007, I won 2008, and ended up, you know, finished my last Worlds at 2015. So I think that weekend was the worst. That was terrible.
Sounds rough.
Your logo design, the 6 blades, where does that come from?
It's just those things that it doesn't come from anywhere, but just comes at you. You know, we had a friend of ours. The first logo was an SR. You know how you put the letters together, was Xande Ribeiro.
Yes.
So we don't really know where it came from, but I think it comes from a Japanese perspective of the flower and stuff like that. Some people call like the windmills, some people call it flowers, you know. So like every logo, you know, back in the day we didn't really have anything for it. You know, nowadays you have like designers and you have a meeting for it. So it came in and we're like, wow, this is awesome, you know, like I liked it, you know, it's cool. It's like a windmill, and then we kept playing with it, and okay, let's settle. How'd you like it? So I like it because, you know, it can be alone in a shirt. It's not really a letter, because back in the day every logo was a letter. You know, and I say, oh, it's cool. It's blah blah blah. It's the spirit, and I said, where it coming from? The guys, well, I think I found it. The guy said, oh, I found it in a Japanese magazine. La, 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 la. And then go on from that. And I said, well, yeah, you know, what's the represents? And we just like, well, it's the spirit of the samurai. And then it kind of sticked, you know. And I don't really remember when the whole like wording came in. But was an idea coming from the Bushido, you know, like the 7 values of Bushido, you know. And then we go like, all right, you know, let's make something for us. And of course, number one is family, because it's me and my brother. So the number one should be family. And then of course we respect each other. We honor our name and our word. We have loyalty for our principles. We keep a positive, attitude through life. And of course, for all of that to happen, you have to have discipline to do what's right every day. So that's where I'm coming from. And again, was something that, nowadays, if you make a logo, you actually think about it and then you make it. We liked what we saw. We didn't know what it was, and it kind of like chooses. It kind of chooses more than we choose the logo, and that's where I'm coming from. So, and also was something that we took also from Master Elio, because Elio Gracie. Now everyone worries about what a blue belt should know. We're more worried about what type of values a blue belt should have.
Yeah.
Versus, does he know an arm lock? You know what I mean? So for me, the most beautiful arm lock in the world is the person that respects one another. You know what I mean? And have the good attitude to carry life. And that's where I'm coming from. We needed something that would bond us, that would, have a little, something that it's not just a technique, it's just a way to, to carry yourself through life. And then that's where the 6 blades came around. But wasn't 6 blades until we moved to California. We called it like the pinwheel, like there was names, but we never really have a name until someone, when the Instagram era comes, these are the blades, so what do you mean the blades? And we brainstorm, and they're the 6 blades, and then kind of stick with that. So
that's
the
cool.
6 blades.
Yeah, super cool.
We're almost done. We've just got a couple more questions to hit you with. We've got a couple of what we call our fast 5, which is just quick ones, and then one more after that. So we'll start with these.
Favorite, no worries.
Favorite submission?
Cross choke from mount.
Nice. Do you have a favorite movie? Yeah.
Man, I gotta say either Forrest Gump or E.T. I love Forrest Gump. That's my favorite movie.
Classic, classic.
Gi or no gi?
Well, I think both. I think jiu-jitsu.
Yep. Nice answer.
I gotta say jiu-jitsu. Yeah.
Favorite food?
Meat. I like picanha for sure. I love meat. Sushi. I don't know, food. I don't think I can say I have a favorite. I guess the palate comes from the mood.
Yeah.
But definitely a nice steak. It's my to go.
Do you have a favorite drink?
Well, I stopped drinking 6 months ago, but used to be wine. I really liked wine. I'm gonna come back. I'm just renouncing.
Any drink. It can be not even alcohol. Any drink.
Hot chocolate, like chocolate milk.
Yeah.
Nice.
Nowadays is sparkling water. I really like sparkling water. Lime sparkling water. That's my favorite right now.
So our last question that we finish up with is, tell us something people would be surprised to know about Xande Ribeiro.
Whoa. I'd be surprised about Xande Ribeiro. I don't know, man. I'm pretty open. Like, I don't know. Be surprised about it. I don't know that he's actually the GOAT and nobody says it is. I don't know, man. Like, I don't think my life is such an open. They don't know about Xande Ribeiro. I do crazy drawings when I develop my techniques.
Oh yeah.
That could be something. Yeah, let me show you one.
You wear a black dress in your spare time? Look at yourself in the mirror?
No, but I love when they do.
Love to play 50-50 when no one's watching?
You should ask her now. Okay. This is something I gotta bring to a physician or not physician, but a physicist. Okay. I do drawings like this to develop techniques.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
That's crazy.
Okay. Do you know where I developed the diamond concept from?
Where?
No.
I think the first time I ever shown this to somebody.
Oh.
This.
Oh, wow.
That's my mind when my mind comes to the game. And I'm gonna show you a simple one, okay?
Okay. So interesting.
Yeah, I like to play with words. You know what I mean? Like, you know, even like where jiu-jitsu comes from, you know what I mean? Like play with like, you know, the balance, you know, be balanced in life and be able to have a little bit of each, you know. So same thing like yin yang and balance in life.
Yeah.
And, you know, strength and like the thing is like there's no like the virus, you know what I mean? That the thing what they say, like the venom is not a venom, but the poison, like the quantity of the poison, right? There's a saying about that. So this is when I'm passing someone's guard.
Wow. That's incredible.
So this is like the red zone. See the red zone? Can you read the red zone?
Yep.
So that's the neck, that's the armpit, that's the center of the heart. And I talk about like energy, and I talk about, okay, should be simple. So this is pretty much where I develop the shield. Okay, that's the shield. So okay, I'm gonna teach you what's going on here. So that's my knee.
Yep.
That's the sternum. That's my foot. That's your hip. That's my thigh. So that's a shield.
Yep.
And that's a frame. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And that's how it goes. Which came from a basic perspective of like self-defense.
Yep.
Okay, so can you see this one? Punch range.
Yep.
So this is like the person on the top of me, and that's my foot on the hip, my knee on the chest, my hip going up and down, keeping that distance.
Yep.
And that's the double block. Yeah. So I guess that's what.
That's awesome. Thanks for sharing it.
Yeah, I know, and I do things like, you know, and I talk about philosophy, you know, the limits of, you know, flexibility, agility versus, you know, the mind, where the mind comes in, the energy comes in, and I don't know, just little studies that I do. Actually, this is a side control. That's me teaching you how to keep a side control.
Wow.
That's so awesome.
You know, yeah, again, I maybe I need to like, you know, bring to someone that knows how to. And then I do like, and then sometimes I play with like, you know, like things like, you know, the yin yang, you know, like good, bad, evil, good, passion, rational, you know, things like that.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Calculus, instinct, technique, power. So I do like mathematics or who wins.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just, I guess it's just like philosophy and theology on it. So I guess if there's something that no one knows, it's this.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah. Well, one day I'll find something interesting to do with it. You know.
Yeah.
Like I said, I really like to teaching concepts more than technique. You know.
Yeah.
And now that I'm growing as a yogi and as a movement specialist, I think it's even developed more like brain connections in my head. So that's gonna help. And hopefully next year at this time I'll be ready to go for the 8 and call it a day.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Yeah.
We hope so.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll be there.
I'll give my best.
Yeah.
You know, we'll see. If they don't hold my lapels and my sleeves too much, I still got a chance.
Nice.
All righty. Well, we better let you go. We just wanted to thank you for spending, what was it, an hour and a half with us, basically.
About hour and 20 minutes. Yeah.
So that was fantastic. We appreciate it. It's an honor, the stuff you shared with us. And like I say,
thank you guys.
You've been an idol of ours since we started jiu-jitsu, and it's amazing to have a chat to you. And hopefully I've got a gym in a country town in Australia, so hopefully next time you're out in Australia.
Where's country town? Where is it?
In Mildura.
Where should I fly to?
Melbourne.
Oh, Melbourne, and then drive. How long is the
drive? Or you can fly.
It's like
okay.
5.5 hour drive.
5.5 hour drive.
Hour on the plane.
Hour flight.
Okay. Is that a cool drive?
Pretty boring.
All right, I gotta fly.
I'll fly you there if you come. But yeah, we'd love to have you there. Yeah. It's only a new gym, and
please, anything, man. I have no problem flying. I have no problem staying in the car. You know, like I said, I travel the whole world. If I tell you so many shit that I did to teach jiu-jitsu, you know what I mean? Yeah. I even taught jiu-jitsu one time in an academy. The guy didn't think that you need mats for the class. I'm like, all right, and I'm teaching a jiu-jitsu class on the floor, but it's okay. So yeah, man. Like I don't like me. I didn't achieve everything that I did to stay at home. You know what I mean? Like I don't. Of course, it's my value as far as my profession and stuff, but I don't measure efforts to come to places. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
if there's a mat, there's a fresh water, and there's a gi, I'm there. I don't
100%.
I don't hold back my knowledge. I don't hold back my understanding of jiu-jitsu. You know what I mean? I am who I am.
Yep.
I'm not gonna put a mask and like, hey, I'm this perfect guy. It's for me, it's the journey to attain that. This is the fun part. Of course, I come here. Sometimes I may talk something that's maybe, rated R and out of the ordinary. But I don't mean, to disrespect anyone.
Yeah.
I respect everyone's opinion. For me, if I got a chance to come and talk to you guys, especially being a family and be someone your kid looks after too, for sure. I'll make my best effort to one day be able to visit you guys and spend some time for sure.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah,
really appreciate it. And
thanks very much.
And I like your haircut too.
I love yours too, by the way.
No, that's awesome. Well, thank you very much, Xande. Really appreciate it. And
thank you, guys.
hopefully the gym's back to normal soon and we can all train.
Yeah, that's it.
Cool, brother. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night. Ciao.